Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at a short monk charms guide. For those of you following my streams, you would have seen me do some testing, mostly for elemental versus crit charms. So yeah, this video will basically go over the results of my testing to check whether elemental or crit charms do more damage for the monk. And then we will talk about the suggested order that I would unlock charms as a monk for both major and minor. So, first of all, let's get right into it. First of all, we have a set of results from Grim Reapers when I was hunting here. So here on the left, I believe we have Zap, Elemental Charm, and on the right-hand side, we have Low Blow. So looking at experience gain, the experience is basically the same. You can't exactly really say that one or the other is better. We've basically killed the same amount of Grim Reapers in the same time slot. However, the one thing you do notice a difference is the supplies. With the Zap, we used almost 200k supplies. And with Low Blow, we used about 156k. That's about a 20 to 25% decrease in supplies, meaning that you will profit a little bit more or simply waste a little bit less. Something else worth mentioning is that also that from my experience, especially when hunted on a low level, that using Low Blow felt considerably easier because the extra leech you were getting from those crits meant that you had your health at a higher level on average. So also the respawn felt a little bit easier. Anyway, those are the results from Grim Reapers. Let's move on to Draken Walls, which I consider another really good respawn to test this kind of stuff. So again, on the left-hand side, we have Elementals, which I believe was Freeze and Zap. While on the right-hand side, we have the Crit Charms, so, Low Blow and Savage Blow. And yeah, again, looking at experience, basically not really anything in there. It's like way on the even 1% difference. But if you look at the supplies, again, even a bigger difference here. I used about 120k of supplies on the left-hand side and only 60k of supplies on the right-hand side. That's half the supplies used, 50% reduction, and about 120k saving per hour. That's almost as much as like 5 imbuements costs per hour that you save simply by using crit charms versus elementals at Draken Walls. So again, not really a massive difference to experience or damage, but a significant saving with regards to the cost. And also, similarly to the Grim Reapers, this spawn also felt easier with Low Blow and Savage Blow due to the increased leech. Moving on, the third and final test I was able to conduct is Werelions. And again, on the left-hand side, we have Elementals. Here, I believe we had Freeze and Divine Wrath. While on the right-hand side, we have Low Blow and Savage Blow. This is the first test where we're able to see a little bit of an increase in experience from Low Blow and Savage Blow. This was to be expected because Werelions are known for to be a relatively low health monster with good XP to HP ratios, where usually that means the crit charms are a little bit better there. So yeah, we could see, if I don't know, what is this, 2-3% EXP increase. And then looking at the supplies, again, we see a significant decrease in supplies from about 89k to 62. That's like, I don't know, 30% supply cost decrease, something like that. So, kind of significant, nothing crazy, but significant. In this respawn, I didn't really notice the difference with regards to leech because this respawn was just very easy anyway, and I was just blowing them up in like 2 hits. But I'm sure if you go here at a really low level, you will also feel safer with the crit charms. So those are the tests that I was able to run. Obviously, those are all relatively low-level spots. And as it is, you probably are aware that elemental charms in general scale better with monster HP as they deal percentage of maximum HP. So as you get higher and higher and higher level and you hunted monsters with more and more and more HP, elemental charms do become a bit better. On the other hand, Low Blow and Savage Blow do scale with the power level of the character, so they do also become a little bit better. But generally speaking, elemental charms are a little bit better later on in the game, especially when team hunting some of those end game spots where monsters have like 30,000 HP. At that point, elementals are better. So obviously this is like relatively low level, low health monsters, but this is some kind of reflective of what like a solo hunting monk would be able to get. So, summary. First of all, damage of elemental versus crit charms is more or less the same. I actually don't think there's anything really in it. I think damage is give or take very, very similar. However, this is all on a low skill character. All of those tests were done with my monk who's only like 2-3 weeks old and, have like 90, 95 fist. Whereas Low Blow and Savage Blow scale very well with skills. So once you have like 120 skill monk, a couple of years from now, at that point, Low Blow and Savage Blow will become significantly better, and probably the damage from them will overtake elementals. and will also improve your experience a bit more. So something to consider from the long term, the value of low blow and savage blow does increase. Second of all, crit charms reduce supplies used by 20 to 50% depending on spawn. So this means they're obviously very, very good for profit hunting and passive farming. Next one, we have crit charms make hunts easier due to the more leech. As I already spoke about, you have more mana leech, more health leech. You have more sustain. It feels easier to hunt some of those harder spots. Last point, another point to mention is that crit charms basically work everywhere. They scale with whatever damage it is you're doing. Whereas, elemental charms do not always work everywhere, right? If you go like freeze charm, for example, won't be very good in like Benuta because everyone's pretty strong to ice damage. So crit charms generally, I would say, are a little bit more versatile, and you can always apply them everywhere. It's not like they're going to be bad anywhere. However, this is a very big point here, the very last one. Elemental charms, on the other hand, are much cheaper on average, so way easier to unlock, and on average give you more minor charm points, and minor charm points are also important. So given the fact that the damage of elemental versus crit charm is more or less the same, if the only thing you actually care about is more experience, then elementals are fine, and you'll actually be able to unlock them a little bit faster. So that's something interesting to consider, especially if you haven't got like a rooked character like I do, who already has like 7,000 charm points from level 8. So with that out of the way, here is my suggested order of unlocking major charms for Monk. Now, I will say that in my opinion, Summary, Low Blow, and Savage Blow are probably the two best charms you can unlock on the Monk. However, they do cost 4,000 points between them, so I do not advise getting them straight away. Because it will take very long time until you can unlock them, and it makes more sense to get some of those very, very good elemental charms that are quite cheap. So I do recommend getting Zap and Freeze first for 1,600 points, then Wound and Poison for 1,200 points. That's a total of 2.8 thousand points for 4 major charms that will serve you very, very well. And albeit they will be a little bit worse than Low Blow and Savage Blow, they are still very, very strong, still give you the same amount of experience in most places, but will let you unlock a lot of more minor charms, and it'll just be easier to unlock them to start with. And at that point, I would go for Low Blow and Savage Blow. And finally, the other two very good charms that you also definitely want to get are Overpower and Divine Wrath. Not necessarily in this order. This is something for you to consider. Overpower becomes really good somewhere from like level 600 or so, especially if you have those HP gems. So also a very, very good charm. And once you have all these, then you can just get whatever else if you have points available. So either Curse or Inflame, which I don't think are that necessary for the Monk. And I probably would skip Dodge and Parry altogether. I don't think those are very good for the Monk. Those are really only kind of viable for the EK, where you're like getting hit by 8 monsters per turn in melee. Whereas for the Monk, they're probably not. You're not going to benefit from them as much. Just my opinion. And anyway, of course, everything in here, this is just my suggested list. If you're hunting something in particular that you will really benefit from having a particular charm, you can unlock it earlier. But I think this is a pretty good generic idea. You can totally skip like 0.2 and just get Low Blow and Savage Blow after Zap or Freeze if you want to have access to those first. Perfectly fine. So yeah, this is not super strong recommendation, but I think this is a pretty safe path for you to choose your charms that you're going to be happy with, while keeping in mind that once you unlock Low Blow and Savage Blow, those will probably be your go-to best 2 charms. Anyway, let's moving on to the minor charms. This is, in my opinion, the minor charm priority. I recommend getting T1 Fatal Hold straight away when you get promoted at level 20. Very, very good. Going to be come in handy in many, many spots. After that, I love Void Skull minor charm. This is the one that gives you mana leech. So highly recommend just getting down to tier 3. That's what I do. I just get down to tier 3 first. It's better than a Vampiric Embrace. It scales a little bit better, has a better ratio. Anyway, once I've completed Void Skull, I usually get T1 Void Inversion. This one is quite good on Mirror, for example. It's also quite good at Upper Roshamo. And there's also a couple of other respawns where it's good at. So yeah, definitely recommend picking up at least tier 1 of that one. You can even get tier 2 or tier 3 if you want. But anyway, once you've got Void Inversion, then I do recommend getting that tier 3 Vampiric Embrace for that life leech. Also very, very good. Like I said, not quite as good as Void Skull, which is why we get Void Skull first, but also very good. And then after that, you can get whatever else you want. You can max out your Void Inversion. Maybe you can get some Gut for some extra profit. Maybe you can get even T3 Fatal Hold if you want. Whatever you think suits your playstyle. And yeah, this is basically the video. This is what I want to talk about. Before the Monk released, I wasn't quite sure what was going to be very strong on him, but I think Low Blow and Savage Blow do make sense to be the best charms given how few creatures it hits and how high base damage his abilities are. That means his damage is very strong, and so when it's scaled further with low blow, and savage blow, it becomes even better. This may change at a very high level, like I mentioned. Once you hit like level 1k, maybe at that point elementals do become better than the crit charms. But I think crit charms overall are a very safe choice as your go-to charms from like level 100 to like level 1000, and I would be very surprised if other charms are better than low blow and savage blow in that level range. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, what you've tested, and yeah, be happy to answer and discuss. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.